Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, even just curious about where the market's at and where it's potentially headed, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Today, I'm going to break down and show you the real unbiased data here in the greater Philadelphia area. We're going to look at parts in Chester County, we're going to look at parts in Montgomery County, and this is going to be completely unbiased. It's called a Reventure app. I pay $30-40 a month for it. And we're going to look at some of the real numbers, what's really happening, the trends across these areas. We've got Montgomery County, we've got parts of Chester County. It's not going to be opinions, it's not going to be clickbait or any exaggerations. It's going to be the real honest truth. And honestly, towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts of where I think this market is headed, what we can predict for the next 9, 10, and 12 months throughout the year. We're going to look at things like the average day on the market. We're going to look at the inventory levels, the number of home sales. We'll even take a look at some home growth charts. And then more importantly, I'm going to explain what this means for you today, what this can mean for you in 6 months, 12 months. So if you're a buyer or a seller, you're definitely going to want to stick around. And actually, some of these numbers really surprised me. I mean, I do this full time. I work, live in these markets. I'm helping buyers and sellers write offers and negotiate offers every single day. And just looking at some of these numbers, seeing what some of the averages were, really just, it surprised me. And I'll mention that and I'll point that out later on here into the video. It's actually really interesting to compare some of these areas side by side, which you're going to do in the video as well. And honestly, the numbers you're going to tell a really intriguing story. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into this video. And to anyone who is new to the channel, my name is Zach. I've lived in these areas my entire life. I've been a licensed real estate professional for the last 4 years now. And in that time, I've had the opportunity to help buyers, sellers, investors move and relocate across all of these different areas. So if that's something that you're looking to do, whether it's today or a year from today, I'm happy to be a resource. You can reach out. I'll throw my email up here on the screen, mornings, nights, weekends, whenever it's convenient for you. I'm happy to connect and help you guys make your move here in Philadelphia. Without any further ado, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull up the Reventure app, and we're going to jump it right into some of this data. I'm going to show you guys what we're seeing here in real time and what I can predict out into the next 6, 12 months of this 2026 year. All right, so we are in the Reventure app here. I've got it pulled up on my screen. You guys can see it right here. And there's a couple, we're really going to dive into probably 3 or 4 different areas today. And we're going to have other videos. We've got other videos out about, Westchester and some other ones. So what we're really going to be focusing on today is going to be this Montgomery County, kind of where Montgomery County and Chester County meet. So right here around King of Prussia, we're going to look at Phoenixville, we're going to look at Collegeville, and if we have time, we might even look at Limerick and Laurelsford, just for a more side-by-side comparison. These are honestly some of the most, when people are reaching out to us, these are some of the spots that people are considering the most as well. So that's why we're making a video specific on this. So this is actually going to be something that I do with my one-on-one clients when they reach out to me, whether they're considering areas and they have to be specific to school districts, whether they're considering multiple areas. I just had a lady reach out to me from New York a couple of days ago. She was considering Collegeville, she was considering Phoenixville, and she was considering King of Prussia. We jumped on a Zoom call, I pulled up my screen just like this, and we walked through all these different areas. Honestly, pretty similar to what this video is going to be. We've looked at the days on market, we looked at the home sales inventory, and of course those calls are a lot more specific to their situations, their timelines, to their goals. But this one's just going to be a lot more general, a lot more overview, brief of kind of the general data, where we're at today and what we can see into the future. Let me zoom out here because there is one point that I always want to make. I'm not going to touch on it real in depth right now. This is where we dive into a lot of times more with my one-on-one clients. But overall, this is the app. This is kind of the intro. There's one tab that I really want to show first. This is the home value. So we're looking at the home values across this greater Philadelphia area. You can see a lot of the blue right here is going to be in the city, and then you've got 2 blue spots out here, and really those are the only blue spots. And we could see here declining home values that aren't as high. And there's really one reason for that. All of these Philadelphia suburbs, they're going to rely on pretty much one thing. Aside from lifestyle, aside from commute times and conveniences, the one thing that all of these home values, demands, and communities are going to be based off of are going to be the school districts. So you could tell we've got some really, really great school districts out here in the Philadelphia suburbs. And you could tell where some of the school districts maybe struggle a little bit. And I mean, like I said before, we're not going to dive into this specifically. If this fits your situation, if you're considering some of these areas out here and you want to dive into it for your situation, I'll throw my email up here on the screen so you can reach out. I can send you a video on this. We can jump on a Zoom call, even meet in person. We've done that sometimes when people are a little bit local. We meet in person at a coffee shop at my office and go through some of the data in real time. But that's going to be the number one thing to just consider if you are looking at these areas from a brief overview. You are going to have, a lot of good luck a lot of good probability of picking a great area. But for some reason, if you ended up to be picking a house in one of these two areas, I would caution you there. And honestly, if you stick around till later in the video, there's going to be an area as we jump into here that a lot of people don't expect. I honestly predicted it just because I'm in the industry. I see these homes. A lot of the people that I'm working with, they don't predict it a lot of the time. So that's why you need to hire someone like myself to show you this stuff. But without further ado, let's dive into this data a little bit more. Let's start breaking down some of these areas and get into the real numbers. All right, so the first suburb or zip code that I want to jump into first is going to be Collegeville. Collegeville has just been one of the most exploding communities over the last 10 years. We got a ton of videos up in here. I'm actually living in Collegeville right now. If you guys have been following the channel for some time, you know that we bought a house out in Downingtown, so we're going to be moving out there in the next 30 to 60 days. But Collegeville, I mean, has been one of the areas that has just seen the most amount of inventory. It's seen the most amount of demand. The school district, I mean, just right now, I made a video on it recently on this channel. We've got 3 or 4 different Toll Brothers communities that have just started building here in Collegeville, all broken ground at the same time, same builder. They're all starting at $900,000 to $1 million plus. So this is definitely going to be an area that a lot of people are considering. It's coming up on a lot of people's radars. It's been really unheard of for the last 10 or 15 years. And now, I mean, you know, you can't buy a lot in there. So we're going to break it down to Collegeville. I think we're going to really compare it to Phoenixville, because that's another very comparable city. If we've got time, we're going to look at Limerick and Worcester, because those, you know, you're going to get the same school districts, you're going to get the same amenities, you're going to get the same access, but you're going to be close to $100,000 less in home value, which, you know, for people right now could be a very great option. It could be affordable, and you could ride a big wave of appreciation and equity when those areas catch up to Collegeville. And then, of course, we're going to break down King of Prussia. This wouldn't be a complete video if we didn't talk about King of Prussia. Look at the days on market, the inventory there. I mean, this area itself is like a little mini city, and I'm surprised this honestly is a little bit more red, but you're going to see when we break it down some of these specific areas or some of the reasons why King of Prussia is a little bit more neutral. So it's going to be important where you pick a home in that area for sure. You might want to check out some of our other videos for that, or even just reach out to me directly and we can dive into that area specifically. But without further ado, let's jump into Collegeville here. There's a couple of things that I want to show you before we get into this video. It's going to be pretty similar. So of course, home values have gone up. I had telling people this all the time. I made a video about this recently. I don't predict these home values to necessarily shoot down, skyrocket down. They might settle over time, but I think a lot of the numbers and data and demand that we're going to look at here today is just going to prove that, you know, there's not a plethora of inventory, right? Home buyers don't necessarily have a choice in how many homes, what homes they want. So as long as sellers have these upper hand, as long as sellers are still really controlling this market like they have for the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, then I think we're going to continue to see these home values go up like we have for the last 10, 15 years here. So without further ado, let's jump into this. I mean, first up, Collegeville home values have exploded. We've got an average home price of about $563,000. This is going to be specifically all the data that we're going to be looking at today is going to be specific to zip code, so I'll make sure that I highlight what zip code it actually is. So this is going to be the 19426 zip code. When we look at the monthly home values, you can sort of see that they're still high. We're going to be switching back and forth from this yearly and monthly filter right here, but there's really going to be 3 pieces of data that we look at. We're going to look at home sales, we're going to look at days on market, and we're going to look at for sale inventory today. All of this is going to tell us where the buyers are at, where the sellers are at, when we can predict new listings, when we can predict buyers they come to the market. We're going to be able to do a lot of predicting and data analysis today just by looking at these 3 pieces of data. So looking at the number of home sales here at Collegeville, let's just go back to the yearly to zoom out a little bit. We're going to be record numbers as well. I mean, if we look at the last 10 years of home sales in Collegeville, we are the second lowest year. The last time we were this low was in 2023, and 2023 wasn't a great year in real estate. For me personally, it was, but you know, for the other half of the industry, it really wasn't great. And honestly, for a lot of buyers and sellers, it was still tough. But regardless, home sales are still really, really down. And that tells us in the month of December, at least in December, that buyers weren't necessarily buying. We're going to switch this over to the monthly view. We're going to see when that trend starts to go back up so that we can start to predict when home sales and buyer activity is going to start to pick up in this zip code. All right, so I've just switched this over to the monthly view. And you guys can see now this is a pretty common trend. I mean, this was right around COVID, but inventory demand has really dropped off after COVID, but we're still having the same trends of these seasonal trends, right? It's the holidays, it's December, it's January, February. People aren't necessarily buying houses right now. You've got travel, you've got kids at school, you're just coming into the new year. A lot of the shift that we're going to see here, and we're going to notice this throughout the entire video, that spring summer market, you're going to see a surge of inventory. Let's just look at this here, for example. This was actually an anomaly that I've been going through with a lot of my buyers and sellers on these calls. I mean, you can see these trends. This one stuttered a little bit. We had a really great November and December last year, where we typically don't, right? We can see right here, February, March of 2025 or December 2025 is pretty low. But you can see in these peak months right here, right? This is June, this is August, this is going to be August up here. These spring, summer months, we're going to see a lot more home sales. So this is going to tell us that buyers, they're going to start coming out. I mean, if we follow this trend right here, so this is our anomaly. But if we go right here, this is going to be April. We're going to see more sales in May. We're going to see more sales in June, more sales in July, and then our peak amount of sales are going to be between August, September, October. Coming back down into the winter months, and then here was our anomaly as we went back up. So spring, summer season, we went back up. This is 2024. Spring, summer season, we went back up. We had an anomaly here where we still had a pretty strong demand going into the winter months, and then it's just shot back down. And then this is where we were about a year ago today. Pretty low inventory, lowest home sales. I mean, pretty comparative to where we were today. Last February, we had about 18 home sales. We're in January of 2026, and we're going to probably have, a little bit less than 28. We'll probably be down here. So we're going to be riding this trend down here for the next couple of months. What we could tell based off this chart here in Collegeville, 19426 zip code, April, May, June, we're going to start riding this back up. We're going to start seeing a lot more home sales hit the market. So for any of my buyers out there that are watching this, currently expect to see more home sales happening in the next couple of months, 6-7 months. And for my sellers, I mean, ultimately expect your home to start having more competition and selling more, right? You're having more opportunities to sell in the next 6-7 months. Let's switch this over to the days on market. This is going to be telling us how long homes sit. It's going to be important to sellers because ultimately, if you're selling your home, how long is it going to take me to get an offer and to close on this home? And if you're a buyer looking in the zip code, you're going to want to know how long you have until you have to make an offer, until their buyers are competing. There's going to be some days on market that we get to at some point that was as low as 16, average 16, which is incredibly low. And I mean, I know some of these numbers. This is where I was surprised because the right home. I mean, when we get to Phoenixville, we'll talk about it a little bit more. I was just in Phoenixville this last weekend. Home got listed on Friday. Today is a Monday. So on Friday, we went and we looked at the house. It was great. My buyers weren't necessarily interested. We looked at it, and they had 3 offers by Saturday. Last night on Sunday, they accepted it. That person is not waiting 58 days at all. They're not waiting 16 days at all. I mean, that person got that home under contract in 2 or 3 days. So it's still possible, it's still out there. We're just looking at averages for these areas. And ultimately, the problem if you don't price it correctly, if you don't have the right strategy, if you don't hire the right person. So we'll get into that later into the video. Looking here at the days on market, this is going to be important for, like I said, both buyers and sellers. Right now, December 2025, homes are sitting on the market for the longest they ever have. When we get down into the spring, summer seasons, looking here in May, June, July, homes are flying off of the shelf. When you list it, it's gone in 30 days. They're good to go. Here, we've almost doubled the amount of time that homes are sitting on the market. So for sellers, you need to have that expectation. Hey, listen, if I'm listing and we can see how long it goes to, right? So this was December, and you're going to have homes sitting on the market for a pretty long time. I mean, down to March, right? You're riding this wave down to March, and then March comes and you're selling a little bit quicker. So yeah, I mean, as today's January, we're going to probably be posting this in February. You probably still have another 30 to 60 days here in this 2026 season until home days on market start to go down. You're going to be selling anywhere between probably 14 to 35 days in the peak of our season between May and August. So that's going to be the days on market. When we switch this to the for sale inventory, this is going to be important to everybody because we want to know how much inventory is around, right? If I'm a seller, what am I competing with? If I'm a buyer, what do I have options to buy? You could tell, I mean, ever since COVID, our inventory is just slashed in half, even to a third in some aspects of it. But we're working with what we can. We've had this inventory for the last 5 years. And honestly, if you look at the last 3 years, we've got more inventory than we had in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So 2025 was on the rise to have a little bit more inventory. I'm hoping 2026 completes that. If we can start to get back here to that average of about 64 pieces of inventory in the zip code. Well, when we switch it to the monthly, because honestly, I was just having a conversation with some buyers about this. It was in this Collegeville zip code. They'd started searching for homes, not with me, but they'd started house hunting in October of 2025. And you guys are going to see later in this video, October was a really, really killer month for real estate in 2025. I mean, buyers, sellers, real estate agents, they did really, really good in October. And some of my buyers that I just met with, I probably started working with them about 3 weeks ago. They fired their other agent, they started working with me, and they were like, these last couple months have been super, super hard. There's no inventory. We're losing things left and right. Like, we're not seeing anything. Like, what is up? So I took a couple of minutes. I filmed a video for them, and this is one of the things I showed them. I said, guys, listen, you guys were looking in the 19426 zip code. Look at this right here. You guys started in October. Ever since you guys have started looking, we've seen less and less inventory. It's not like we've been seeing more options and you guys have lost them, or more buyers eventually. Like, we've seen less home sales, which is helpful, right? You've seen less buyers compete. But we've also seen less homes. So breaking this down gave them, hey, it's not us, it's not me, it could be my old agent, right, for not telling me this. But it made them feel a lot better about the situation and going into the year. Really, after we go through this whole video, my goal for you is that you feel confident going into the year that home sales are going to pick up, that days on market is going to go down, that inventory is going to come in, and that's going to be a really, really solid year for real estate. Because that's ultimately my opinions, my perspective. After I've looked at all of this data, I've talked to buyers, sellers, other people in the industry, people that are much higher than me in terms of data and analytics. But looking at this a little bit more, I mean, yeah, we've seen inventory decrease over the last 3 months. But and data tells any type of story, if we look at trends, if we can see how the rise works, let's look at 2025, for example. So right here, January 2025, we had about 36 pieces of inventory. We've got a little bit more than that now, but not much. We saw it rise to close to about 57. So it didn't double, but it close to double the amount of inventory in the peak months, August, September. And I predict the same thing to happen here. I mean, we might lose a couple of pieces of inventory through January, February, March, but then I do believe April, May, June, July, as kids are getting out of school, parents are out of work, people are working from home, holidays are or vacations are happening, I believe as all of that starts to take place, we're going to see homes enter the market, we're going to see buyers enter the market, sellers enter the market, and this inventory trend line is going to start to rise back up gradually. How much? We're not going to probably be here at average, but we could double or maybe close to triple the amount of inventory that we see, here at the start of the year. All right, that was all of the data for Collegeville. Let's jump into the neighboring community right here, Phoenixville. Before we do that, I did want to show you guys, let's go back to this home value chart. Let's just zoom out, show you guys where we are. This is our home value chart. We just looked and broke down Collegeville right here. I'm going to break down Phoenixville here momentarily, but there is a little spot right here in between Collegeville and Phoenixville that a lot of buyers can get messed up in. It goes between school districts, it goes between different types of housing. It's very, very specific in this area. And honestly, I've helped buyers buy in these areas and buy safely in these areas, buy smartly in these areas, even call it. But it's going to take someone like myself that has seen these areas grow up, develop, that has gone through the numbers and the data and knows which areas are keen. Because ultimately, a lot of the buyers that I work with that live or that consider living in these areas, they ultimately decide to live between here in Collegeville, where you get different school districts, you get access to different amenities, or they ultimately decide to go under the bridge and live here in Phoenixville, where there's a different lifestyle. You've got Bridge Street, you've got the Phoenixville school districts. It's maybe more walkable, maybe a little bit older and charm-like. So, and it all comes from me being able to break it down and give them that experience. But really, this is going to be something that you're not going to ultimately most likely find. Some of the buyers I work with were considering a place here, and when they were working with another agent, they had no idea that home values there were a little bit lower or a little bit slower, call it, than being literally 30 seconds and throwing a rock to the house that's right here. So I'm able to help them break that down, show them all of those differences, and that's something that is maybe important to you that you're looking for when you're making your move or selling your house. I'd love to be a resource. My email's up here on the screen. Reach out to me nights, weekends, mornings, and I'd love to connect with you, help you guys out, make that move. So let's jump into Phoenixville right here. It's going to be the same thing as Collegeville, same stats, not the same stats, but the same overlay. We're going to see very similar trends in a lot of these areas. All of these areas are desirable. You got the best school districts, you got the best amenities, you got the best lifestyle. So we're going to see very similar trends in these areas. But I think, and like I said at the start of the video, seeing how they compare to one another, seeing how you can maybe buy into one area for a little bit more affordable than the neighboring community and still have all the amenities, ride that appreciation, ride that equity. It's going to be insight and value that I can provide to you. So let's jump into this. We're going to go down here to the home sales again. We're going to look at those 3 pieces of data: the home sales, the days on market, and the for sale inventory. So we look here at the home sales. we're going to be record numbers of low home sales. We did have some more home sales back in recent years, and that's just going to push towards that desirability. And we talk about how desirable Phoenixville is, Bridge Street, these areas, these school districts. This is going to prove that. But however, in years past, in 2023, 2024, were record levels of low sales. You can obviously see that 2025 is starting to come out of that and beat that with 43. We're starting to get back to that 2022 point. And when we switch these up a little bit, let's put this to the monthly, because a lot of my buyers are going to want to know, well, when can we start to see more inventory? So right now, I'll break it to you. Inventory is tight. So you can see right here, lowest levels of inventory in December. When we were down here, this was also, January. Here's December. January, I do expect this, as January reports come out, I do expect this to come a little bit lower. I expect February to come probably down here as well. And then you can see April, May, we start to swing up here. And then we're at the peak of the market here in August. Peak of the market, we've got 58 listings. We've almost doubled. We had 28 to 58, almost doubled the amount of listings that we had in the beginning of the year. So what can I predict? Well, where we are here, it's filming this at the end of January, middle of January. I can predict that the next month and a half, the next 30 to 45 days, 60 days, we're going to see this number start to go down a little bit. It might fade off somewhere around here, and I believe that it's going to start to peak back up. Well, is it going to get past this average line? I hope so. I hope this is the year that we start to see more inventory come to the market from my buyers. But ultimately, I'm not going to be able. If I could, I would, but I'm not going to ultimately be able to control that. But that would be my prediction. Right now, inventory is tight. If you're a buyer, expect it to go a little bit tighter. If you're a seller, buckle down. List your home. Be the one that stands out. Have it be priced competitively, because ultimately in June, July, August, you're going to have more options. There are going to be more people you compete with, and you might not get that $550,000, that $575,000, that $600,000 when your neighbor's selling for a little bit less. And then just taking a look at the for sale inventory here. I mean, once again, nothing surprising. Still record levels of low inventory. But we can, switch this marker over here, and we can predict that when it's going to go back up again. So just looking at our months, December is the lowest, January, December here being the lowest, and we have peak months here in June, July, August. I predict the same thing here. We might go a little bit lower. We might level off here at about 30 and then maybe 25 units in February. But I believe that as we get back into May, June, July, August, we're going to start seeing 60, 70 units plus a month. All right, I want to take a minute and pause the video right here. What do you guys think about it this far in the video? Have any of these numbers surprised you? Have you guys been considering any of these areas? Maybe you own a home in these areas. Maybe you're considering buying in one of these areas and you've seen something that has shocked you. Comment it down below. I'm sure other people appreciate it. And honestly, if you're wanting to dive into this a little bit more, I'm happy to connect with you. I'll throw my email up here on the screen. Shoot me an email. You can jump on a Zoom call. I can send you a personalized video, and I can really break down some of these areas a little bit more in depth. I'll hold it a little bit longer. I'll hold it. We've got to get back into the video. Let's get into it. All right, now we're going to jump into King of Prussia. This is probably the long-awaited one. Honestly, I think this one is going to be set the standard a little bit more for the market. It's going to have a lot more stability to it, right? You don't have as many, you have a lot more developed areas, right? And we talk about the new apartments and construction and townhouses coming in. You're going to have a lot more developed area. You're going to have a lot more developed demand. I mean, these areas have been along a lot longer than Collegeville and Phoenixville has seen over the last 20 years, and Limerick and Morris, where we're going to get to next. So this one is definitely going to be a lot more standard, probably a lot more better forecast of where the market's headed. You're going to see that there are some different numbers. I mean, right off the start here, the for sale inventory, just in the last couple of years, you've actually seen a little bit more inventory over the last couple of years than you've seen now, and even compared to other areas. And that's just going to talk about a little bit more of the desire that people have, the more of the higher population growth in these areas, the more of a turnover that people are seeing in these areas. So this is going to be the first one, is that we are still record levels of low, but if we look in 2023 and 2024, where market was a little bit harder and numbers were a little bit lower, we actually saw more inventory here. So this is just another tell of being in such a desirable area, such a strong demand area. When markets start to soften a little bit, when we're seeing other neighboring areas, Collegeville, Phoenixville, start to see lower inventory levels, King of Prussia is still going to continue to rise strong and outlast that and outbeat that competition. When we move this to the monthly tab, you're going to see it's not too terribly different. I mean, down here in February 2025, we had 26 units. We're about here December 2025, so we're just a month and a half, 2 months before, and we're at pretty similar inventory levels. When you look back here in 2024, in November 2024, had a ton of inventory. It kind of rode that wave. I told you, we looked at that back in Collegeville, that anomaly. Pretty similar anomaly here in King of Prussia, but you're starting to see, I think it was double the amount of inventory that we see there in Collegeville. So looking at this data, if you're looking for homes right now, if you're a buyer, for sale inventory is at its lowest levels, probably lowest levels than it's been in the last year. We haven't seen stuff be this low since, it looks like last May. So super low inventory levels, but with that, we can expect it to start to rise up. It might drop down here another little bit in the next 30 to 45 days. But as we start to enter here, you can see right here, March, April, May, June, we start to get in at the peak of our inventory. We're in June with 44 units, carrying that through July and August. So, and then of course coming down here for the holiday season. So lowest inventory levels right now, but in the next 6, 7, 9 months, we're going to see the inventory levels start to shoot back up. Here you go, looking at the average days on market in the 19406 zip code. It's pretty average, right? This is also a different stat than we've seen in the last two suburbs. We've got a pretty average days on market, and honestly, the days on market seem to be pretty average over the last couple of years. We're going to break this down into the monthly trend, see when homes are selling faster and slower. But overall, I mean, we tend to have a pretty healthy and pretty standard average days on market, no matter the time of the year. When we put it on monthly here, you can see how it breaks down into the months. So February, right, all these winter months, we're always going to see it be a little bit lower in terms of activity, right? Days on market, these are going to be selling a lot quicker. June, July, August, it's always going to be selling quicker. People are out of school, people are out of work, they're working from home. Let's buy a house, right? It's a lot simpler. Right here at the peak, right here in February, December, right here in February, December, we're going to have homes sitting on the market for the longest periods of time, right? People are out on holidays. They just spend a ton of money traveling, on gifts, whatever it is, and this is going to replicate that. So, I mean, ultimately, right now, if you're a seller, understand that your home is going to be sitting for longer than it will be, as opposed to the May, spring, summer months. And if you're a buyer, know that right now could be a pretty good time to find something without a lot of competition. People aren't buying houses as quick as they're going to be. Homes are sitting a little bit longer. You might have more negotiation power. You might have a little bit more time to make those decisions. But for buyers, you also have to know that as we enter these May, June, July, August, September months, homes are going to start selling quicker. Your time to make decisions are going to be less. And ultimately, we see this happen year after year. And then the last stat that I just want to look at here, I thought this was pretty standard as well, or pretty nice as well. The average home sales are pretty, within a point or two. I mean, we're seeing anywhere from 19 to 23 home sales. It's not significant numbers. When we look at the monthly stats here, everything's going to be pretty relative. So this is going to be another tell of that the demand is pretty solid throughout the year. We're seeing a pretty steady number of home sales year over year, month over month. I mean, they're fluctuating by maybe about 20 or so, and this was out from 4, 5, 6 years ago. In more recent times, 2, 3 years ago, everything's within about 10 pieces of data or so. So we are seeing a pretty consistent stream of just home sales that are happening here in Prussia. We're not having things sell a lot in one month. We're not having things slow in 1 month, and this is good for sellers because you can know that if you're buying in King of Prussia, and buyers even, you can just know that if you've got an investment, if you've got a home in King of Prussia, and of course the specific areas of King of Prussia has to be the zip code and different areas of the zip code, you can know that stuff is selling pretty steadily, and you're not going to have to necessarily compete or fight with market demand, market volatility, days on market, stuff like that. All right, and this is going to be a bonus area. If you made it this far in the video, I'm sure that you appreciate the numbers, the stats, comparing these different areas. Honestly, if you made it this far in the video, you probably appreciated these numbers, me running through this data. This last area is actually going to be my secret tip, what I really tell my one-on-one buyers or sellers when we're in our consultations or meetings. These areas are going to have a ton of potential appreciation, demand, and equity that if you buy in the right areas, if you buy in the right neighborhoods here, you're going to be riding this wave in the next 5 or 10 years because these areas are really going to be catching up Phoenixville and Collegeville pretty quickly. Let's zoom in here a little bit. I want to look at this 19468 zip code specifically. There are going to be specific areas in here. I mean, as you start to get closer to this Saratoga Pottstown line, you're going to want to be aware. But really, as you're close to these Perkiomen, Collegeville, Trav line, you're looking at some Turtle Creek, Mandrake. You've got Ridge Pike right here. These are all going to be really great areas to just start targeting and prospecting for future growth. Let's click on some of the stats here. You're going to see just right off of the start, average home price is almost $100,000 less than Collegeville. I mean, in a mortgage, that could be anything from $10,000 to $15,000 a month, depending on the HOA, the taxes, right? But with that being said, you're going to get living in this area. right here, I mean, you're going to get access to the same school district, your Springford School District, Perkins Valley School District. You're going to get access to all the same parks, the dining. I mean, you've got the outlets right here. You're going to have a Target shopping center and Giant shopping center. So all of the parks, all of the highways, all of the roads, everything that you get in terms of access and conveniences in Collegeville for this $562,000 average home price, you're going to get it here in Limerick. And I believe personally that if you're buying these areas and you're holding for 7, 10, 12 years, these areas are going to quickly start to catch up. We break it down on this channel all the time. New construction neighborhoods. They've just broken down the Mandrake Park to completely revitalize that and redo that. They are making a ton of progress and steps in these areas to compete with Collegeville. And I believe in the next couple of years that these areas are going to be very, very red. So let's break this down a little bit more. Let's look at some of the demands in these areas. Let's look at our 3 points: the days on market, the home sales, and the for sale inventory. Looking here at the home sales, one of the lowest number of home sales in years past. We have seen some higher home sales, right around that COVID point. But right now, especially in December, I mean, we're pretty low home sales. Look at this monthly point, home sales are low. So I don't want to reiterate this. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but seeing these trends, we can predict May, June, spring, summer months, they're going to have the most amount of inventory, the most amount of buyers that are looking for your home or competing against you. Here's the days on market in the 19468 zip code. They are pretty standard average, but you can tell how they're fluctuating right now. Homes are sitting for the longest right now. We can predict that in the next 6 months, in June of 2026, we could predict that home sales. I mean, look at this right here. This was 13 days on the market. That is quick. If we've got homes today that are selling in 3 or 4 days and the average is 44, you can only imagine that these homes are probably selling before they even hit the market. So, you're going to want someone like myself that is keeping an eye on these things, that knows these things, that knows how to win in markets like this as we start to navigate in different markets. I'll throw my email up here on the screen if it makes it convenient for you guys to reach out mornings, nights, weekends. But look where we are right now. We're at the most amount, the highest days on market. Sellers, if you're selling in the zip code, be prepared. You're going to be having your home on the market 45, 60 days, 65 days. You might get, anxious. Where are my buyers? Where are my tours? I don't want to price reduce. But we're going to be riding the market. And for buyers, you have to understand, right now is a great opportunity. In 6 months, 7 months, we might see a rate drop. We might see more inventory, but homes are going to be selling faster. And that time to make decisions, the time to see the home, the time to even look at it, right, to tour it, might just be gone in a minute. So keeping that in mind, that's how you're going to win throughout this year. And then let's just look at the for sale inventory. We look at that again. So that's going to be everything. All right, well, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys again for sticking around till the end. You'll have to let me know down in the comments if you guys are considering any of these areas. Were there any numbers that surprised you? Was it the days on market? Was it the number of home sales? Was it following the trends to see honestly how predictable they are? I mean, let's face it, I've been doing this for 4 years now. I've been helping buyers and sellers not necessarily predict the timing of the market, but just ride these trends, see when we're going to see more inventory, see when we're going to see less buyers. And ultimately, it's how I'm helping my buyers and sellers win in these difficult markets. So if that's something that you're considering a move here, you're considering a sale here, and you want to have someone that knows this market like it's their own backyard, because this is mine, reach out to me. My email is up here on the screen. I would love to be a resource. And until next time, I will see you around the neighborhood.